Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be talking you through a scene that I've been drawing for the new book, which is the revision of Book 3, which is called Venna's Planet Volume 3, Special Edition. Now, there is some mention, they appear in the first volume, in the first book, and the first volume of the milk bugs, a swarm of little creatures that actually are little natural helicopters in a way. And I never brought them back again, and I realised they're quite an integral part. I'm not going to say too much about that or why I'm reintroducing them in this third volume, but I'm just going to talk you through a panel I'm drawing, which is a brand new panel for a brand new page, in which we have Geezer, our friendly Krog, and he in this story is just walking out of a room. Venna and Marla are just behind him. Now, I'll just say before I go any further, this sequence I've increased the speed by about, I don't know, I think about 5 times. I'm not sure. I think it's about, yeah. So I don't draw as fast as this. I'm making this up pretty much on the hoof. I might not end up using this drawing, I don't know. I'm not entirely satisfied with the way it comes together. I may alter it, I may replace it, I don't know. But I might just give you some idea of how I put this together. Anyway, we have Geezer, who is being his usual, lovably pompous self. And there is this terrific collision with another Krog who is carrying what looked to be a butterfly net. And he is rounding up the milk bugs for purposes known only to himself, but will become known to us later on. As mentioned in the first volume and the first book, and it goes way back to the very first versions of this story, going back 30-something years, I think, that they're called milk bugs. You can milk them. I think I got it from a line of some old saying, would you milk a mosquito to serve your king? And it's like these things are kind of small, but you can get milk out of them, and when you've finished getting milk out of them, you can actually, cook them up and eat them. So, but in that first book, it was explained that if they get trapped, or if one or two of them get trapped, they will explode. Somebody says, well, what would be the point of that? That's not a very good survival tactic. To which also replies, well, what about bees? On Earth, a bee will sting and it will die, and that doesn't seem like a very efficient defense. But the thing is, it protects the rest of the herd. It'll either create a distraction or help them escape something. I don't know how. And nobody really knows, how the brains of these things work, how bright they are or how instinctive they are. But it turns out that if you, you can see that actually that he's got a little box there that he's putting them in. And here we are. I'm just drawing the netting on the actual net. So, and there's a technique I use here where I use a separate layer to draw the mesh on the other side, on the side that we can see, so the rest of it was on the inside. And there I've actually taken away the rest of the background so I can see what I'm doing. And once I put that black in, and I highlight the whole thing, and then I can just put a create an outline around everything that isn't, oh, there it is. So I'll superimpose that now, cleaning up the edges. And we can see that we've drawn some of the milk bugs inside the net, and we can see we'll see a few flying around, and I'll add more when I come to complete this panel. I mean, I was drawing this almost as soon as I'd worked out the dialogue and the positions of things on the panel. So there we are, and I'll come back with more of that later.